Good day, my name is Quinsonet, and in this video we will be learning how to create an ISO file as well as using said ISO file in a VM Virtualbox. Let's get started. In this video, I'll be using Power ISO because in my opinion, Power ISO has one of the most simpler interface to do said task. There are other tools you can get on the internet as well to do it. I just prefer Power ISO. But anyways, let's move on. So what you're going to do, you're going to open your file. I already have it open ahead of time, and you're going to select all the items that you're going to want to add to your ISO to create the bootable for the VirtualBox. Then, after you highlight it, you will right click on one of them, any of the files, and you will then select Power ISO, specifically Add to Image File. Here, the application will automatically open on its own, and then you'll be greeted by this prompt. After, you will select the file format, change it to ISO, standard ISO, and after, if you so choose, you can change the name of the ISO file. I will just be removing file and just change it to Windows Server 2012. Once you've done that, you can select OK, and here we'll see that the file is being built. It doesn't take too long and it shall be done rather quickly. Now, and just like that, if we go back to our file, we can see it has been made. So this is the ISO we'll be using in our VirtualBox. So let's get right to that. Right, back to the main desktop. Continuing now, we shall be opening up our VM Virtualbox, and from here, these are the steps we will be taking to create our own server. So the first thing we want to do is you're going to select New, and we are going to name our server. We shall be naming it Windows Server 2012. As we can see, with this VM Virtualbox, it already named out exactly the type of version that we're going to be utilizing, so we won't have to search for it. But if you want, these are the many options that it have in regards to the type that we'll be doing, which is Microsoft Windows. But like I said, because we already typed in 2012 server, it already picked it out for us. So let me just pick it again. There it is. Right. From here, we select Next. From here, we will allocate a recommended amount of RAM for our system. It is saying that the recommended amount would be 2048 megabytes. We will just leave it as it is. We will then select Create a Virtual Hard Disk Now. It's saying that the recommended size of the disk needs to be 50 gigabytes, but we don't necessarily have to put it that high. Right? We will then select the VDI, VirtualBox Disk Image. This is the type of hard disk file type we will be utilizing. Select Next again, and we will change it to a fixed size. Dynamically allocated will be for people who have bigger space on their system, whereas it can change over time. Seeing as how the space on my system is a bit limited, we will have to go to fixed size, which is not a problem. So we select fixed size, we click Next, and now we can change it from the actual size. Like I said before, it doesn't necessarily need to be 50 gigabytes. So we're just going to drop it down to just about 20. Alright, so we just leave it at 20 gigabytes. That should be more than enough. Then we select Create. Here, the system will now create it. It will take some time, so I may speed up the process here just a little bit. Right, and now, after all that is done, we have our new Windows Server 2012. We are now in our final steps in creating our server. The first thing we want to do though, we want to check our settings just to make sure everything is ticked off and everything is fine. Normally everything usually is fine in terms of our general, our systems, etc, etc. The main thing we want to check though is our network. Primarily we want to select advanced and make sure that the adapter type is saying Intel Pro 1000 MT desktop. This is if in the foreseeable future we would like to interconnect our VM Virtualboxes, it will be a lot more easier for it to grasp everything. As it's already selected, we don't have to change anything, so we just select OK. Our next step would be to double click our Windows Server 2012. Here we will be greeted with our opening and it shall start running our server. Normally you would have to select it, but the system already picked it up for itself. Right, here we are now in the Windows setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the language to install as English United States, time and currency format as English United States, keyboard or input method as US. We select next and then we select install now. The setup will take a bit of time, so you have to have some patience in regards to doing it. You will have the licensing term. Normally you just click I accept the licensing terms and you move forward to the next step. We will then select custom installing Windows Advanced. This is so that we can go to search for our drive. Here you can actually find more allocated space if you so choose, but we will just be utilizing the allocated space we had set aside for it already, which will be 20 gigabytes. We select next, and now it will start copying the files and getting the files ready for installation. This may take some time due to how much information has to actually install, so in light of that I may have to fast forward the video just a little bit once again, and once everything is done we shall continue the video. Even though there wouldn't really be much else to add, but we shall still continue the video. So back to everything. So your system has rebooted, everything is installed. Now it's just running through the process one more time. It takes a bit of a time to properly start up itself because you know, brand new is an installation air quotes of the system, right? Right, we have now reached the final leg of this video. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create a password for it. The password I'm going to give it is something very simple. I'm just going to give it password 101. Put it again. And then we select finish. It does the finalization. And here we are at our startup page. So as you can clearly see, the system is asking us to press the Alt Delete button to sign in. Now, normally you would do that on your computer, you just type it on your keyboard, right? Well, with the Windows Server, sometimes certain keyboard types might really, the inputs might be red. So what we'll have to do in that regard is we may have to select input, keyboard, and then we will have to actually insert it from here itself. it tells us that we could also use something called host delete, but you could always use it this way. This is a lot more simpler. So once you select this, it opens up to administrator and you put in the password that we came up with, which was password 101. As you can clearly see, it opened up straight to the server manager, but in the long run, this is primarily it. We have our server information here, and we have our created Windows server. So that's about it. That's about it for the video. I just want to show like a little bit of stuff in the system, show everything that works, and that's about it. And when you close it, you just press the X, and instead of pressing power off, you would want to press save the machine state. Once you press that, the system would save the machine at the state of the machine as it is right now, which doesn't take too long, and it is now complete. And that is the end of the video. One slight little tidbit. In terms of when the boot up happened for the system, normally what happens is you have to select the ISO, but because it was it selected itself for some reason. It was selected previously, and because of that, it kind of just booted up for itself. Normally, it would select the ISO, which isn't that difficult to do. So, yeah, but overall, that's the gist of it. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I do hope you come back again for another tutorial. I should be having one very soon. Take care.